Alrighty, welcome to a special episode of the Sparring Sessions podcast. We're here today with BFL Featherweight Champion Radley Da Silva. How are you doing today, Radley?
Good, man. Good. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Our pleasure. Coming off a win, what a crazy, bloody war that was. Back and forth. First off, he got you in a pretty deep submission, pretty good heel hook. How's your knee feeling?
Oh, dude, I'm feeling great, man. I could fight this week if I wanted to. So it was like, thank God, man. No injuries, nothing at all. Like, it looked kind of bad. I think what made it look worse was that I was like making an excruciating face, but it wasn't. If anyone knows anything about fighting, when you're in there, you don't feel any pain. So I actually wasn't making a face of physical pain. It was a face of like physical strain. Like there was the same face I made when I was getting the choke on. If you watch the highlight there, I had a face of like, oh, like I was trying really hard to get something. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same face. So, yeah, I didn't feel any pain in there, and thank God afterwards I didn't feel any pain the next day because usually like when you're doing something, your adrenaline's pumping, you don't feel anything, but then the next day you're like, oh no, my leg's destroyed. So thank God none of that happened, and I'm actually good to go. Like I could go fight this week if I needed to. So really happy with that.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Yeah, if you're watching this and you haven't seen his most recent fight, go back and watch BFL 81. The ending sequence covered with blood from not your cut, but your opponent's cut, and you sunk in the rear naked choke. I was shocked you were able to get it in with how much blood there was. Was that in the moment were you thinking like, oh my God, do I have to squeeze my arms out to try to get past all this blood, or were you just focused on that choke?
No, actually, the blood makes it a lot easier to get in. It's like an oil. Like a guy can
Oh,
have
okay.
his chin down, and you could have your arm over it, squeezing over his chin, and it's so slippery that eventually it just goes right under his chin. So the blood makes it that much easier to get in. But it was harder actually to try to control him after
Mm.
that because, like I said, it's like oil, right? So trying to wrestle a greased up person is hard. So it was just that of me. It was my first time experiencing a fight that bloody. So, like I said, I took so much experience from that fight. Like I learned so much, and it benefited me. And going forward is going to benefit me a lot too. Because yeah, that's something you got to get used to if you're going to do MMA, right? You're gonna have lots of bloody fights. Hopefully, not too many wars for myself, but I'm gonna probably have lots of bloody fights. For hopefully my opponent's blood. So you got to get used to that. And yeah, it was good, man. It was good to feel what it's like to have to hold someone down
Mm.
that like lubricated up. No diddy.
Oh, did he? I love it. Yeah, that was an incredibly tough opponent. Almost 30 professional fights, almost 50 amateur fights that I could see, probably more. And before that, you had a knockout of the year spinning heel kick against an NCAA wrestler. You kind of just hinted at it, but do you like these quick, maybe easy finishes more, highlight reel, or do you like these wars where you really learn about yourself and your opponent?
Oh man, well, I personally would like to get it done quick in a highlight reel, but I feel like I gained so much more from learning about myself and seeing my limits in there. I'm obviously not in there to do that. I'm not that type of fighter. Like if you watch any of my fights, I just dominate the whole time, and I feel like I even did dominate completely in my last fight. I just had that one moment of getting put in a heel hook that I get put in every day almost in training camp. Like going with Jamie Siraj, like he'll do that exact same setup where I'm in half guard on top, and then he'll use his butterfly to get elevate me a bit, and then go for a heel hook. So I'm literally in that position all the time. It's cool to work out of it in a fight, but yeah, other than that, I feel like I dominated the entire fight. Like I rocked him good on the feet before that. Got a pickup slam. Was had some ground and pound, and even before the round ended, I actually cut him open with an elbow. So that was actually something I was talking to I think it was the ref or the judge, but I was asking him like, so how would you score that first round? Because I know it ended, but like, how do you score that? Like, yeah, he had the heel hook attempt, but it's like I dominated the whole round and got a cut. So like, I was like wondering because you know how that stat that Battlefield's got going around about the never lost a round in how many years. I'm like, was that the round? I don't know. So it depends how they judge it. But like, I did do more damage. Like I got a cut. I had success on the feet. I had success on the ground. So I don't know how they would score that, but yeah, hopefully that's still alive.
Yeah, that's an insane stat, and I love it. You mentioned the takedown. You've been doing capoeira for what, almost your entire life now. Now you're mixing in some of the grappling. Seems like you've really, filled out as a fighter. You've been in BFL for over 10 years now, defended the title a few times. I have to ask, what's next? On the broadcast, you shouted out the UFC. They mentioned you would talk with the matchmakers, and then they wanted to see a performance or two. Are you still, a few days later? Are you still angling for that UFC shot? Maybe a contender series shot?
Yeah, I've been angling for just the contender series shot. Like last year, I didn't expect to go fighting contenders, but I had set a goal where I wanted to be 6-1, like my record, and I wanted to be on the radar of the UFC for contender series, and that's exactly what I did. And this year around, I set a goal where I wanted to get one, maybe two fights before contenders, and hopefully get that contenders win and like end the year off with a full-fledged UFC fight. So, starting it off right, got my one win. We'll see what the matchmakers say if they want me for contenders because they start signing for it pretty early in the year. I think like February,
Mhm.
March. So they'll let me know, and even if they don't have anything set yet, like they don't have any opponent or they don't know yet, like I'm willing to stay active. Like I've had so much time in between my career that I'm not looking to sit around and wait for anything. I'm not the type of guy also to ask for handouts in any way, shape, or form. That's just the type of guy I am. I'd rather earn my way, and I feel like I haven't really done much in the sport either. So, on the regional scene, I've done lots. Like, I have five professional featherweight belts already, but I haven't done anything in the sport, in the broader talks of it, like international, all that. So I'm more than willing because I feel like I gain so much more from the experience than I would sitting out, and I want to be as ready as possible when I do get into the UFC. I'm not looking to get there and just have a couple fights, win some, lose some, and then call it a career. Like I want to make it to the top of my division and have fights that people will be talking about for years to come. And to do that, I know I have a better chance of that if I have all the experience that's needed going into my UFC or Dana White Contender Series fight. So definitely, if I don't hear anything, I want to have another fight before May, and then. It should be stamped if I get another win before May to get into the contender series by like July or something. I think the season starts around July, so if I can get a fight before May, then I have May, June, whatever to rest and have a camp, then that'd be great.
That's wonderful to hear. Yeah, the matchmakers love when fighters like to stay active, like to get a lot of wins under their belt before a contender series of the UFC. Especially now, it seems like they're focusing more than ever on Canada. They had two Canadian cards last year. They mentioned they want to keep coming back. We've seen fighters from Unified, from BFL, people who have beaten the same opponent you just beat, go right to the big show. That being said, opponent aside for BFL or Dana White's Contender Series in the UFC, maybe not your debut, but who is your dream opponent?
Well, I'd want to fight Ilia Topuria. Obviously, that guy is apparently the best in the world featherweights, and he is right now. Like he's proven it time and time again. So I want to get to the level where I can fight a guy like that and make leave my name in the history book. So yeah, someone like that, someone like Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez, guys that have been at the top of the division for a long time, and are exciting fighters as well. So I know that, like I said, at the regional level, it's good to be exciting, but you don't want to risk your freaking health at a regional level when you're not getting paid anything. If you lose, then it's all over. But when you're at the top of the sport, fighting in the biggest promotion in the world, all the eyes on you, you gotta let it hang out. So I'm looking at guys that are super exciting fighters as well to, make it twice as exciting for the fans, and those are the kind of fights I'm looking forward to. So it's Poirier, Yair Rodriguez, Max Holloway, all guys that are fan favorites, and I'm sure it would be an amazing fight one day.
That's awesome. And I would love to see all of those fights for you and selfishly. I think those would be incredibly exciting. Taking a step kind of away from fighting now, I saw on your Instagram, I've found a few clips. You've been doing some acting recently. How did that get started? And talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, and it was like in 2017, I'd say, or 18. I used to just work a regular job, man, a regular 9 to 5, and I have a few cousins in the industry who've been doing stunts for a long time and acting and all that stuff. So basically, I was, just working a regular job, and then they're like, "Man, what are you doing with your life? Like, dude, you have all the talent in the world. Like, you've been doing capoeira forever. Like, you're a specialist with your body. You should be working with your body." And I'm kind of just like, you know what? You're right. And I just quit my job and just, started pursuing the acting thing. And like I said, I'm not really the type of guy to ask for handouts or ask for help even. So they just gave me they sparked the idea in my mind, and I just kind of went about it myself on how to do it. And, just, started by like taking some headshots, making like a little demo reel myself, getting a resume together of whatever I've done, and then to add to my resume, I would like offer my services to like student films, music videos, just for free, just to build up my resume, build up that video reel. And then, I would just look on all the forums and blogs and stuff. Eventually, I saw they were looking for someone that kind of looked like me to do some stuff. And then I submitted myself. Luckily, I got it. And then I did that, got my first acting credit, my first stunt credit as well, and then it just kept going from there, and it just, yeah, it was just a testament to just someone sparking that idea in me, and realizing like, what, I do have what it takes to do this stuff. So just going about it and grinding hard for like it took me like a good year or 2 years, no, it was like a year and a half to get like fully unionized and all that stuff. And then ever since then, it's just, yeah, it's been an amazing, like one of the best part-time jobs you could ever have, because it's very like you're on call, right? So it's good because it works perfectly for me for fighting, because I get to work a few times here and there a month, and then the rest of the time I focus on just training and getting better. And it also makes me have to stay in shape and be physically ready and have my skills on point at all times. So it works out perfectly for fighting, and it's like, yeah, I couldn't ask for a better side job.
Sounds ideal. And even if you weren't going to do acting, some of the moves I've seen, even in the cage after some of your victories, some of your I don't want to call them dances necessarily, your performances as celebrations, you could go viral on TikTok or Instagram or something. That's a man of many facets. I love it.
Thanks,
Um,
so.
and yeah, sounds like you're a pretty busy guy, but one of the things I love is getting to know fighters kind of outside of the cage, outside of their professional career. So during the week, your average day, what do you like to do for fun?
Man, my life has changed drastically in the last year and a half. Like I said, like I started like the last a year and a half ago, I was only what, 2-1 as a fighter, like hadn't fought in several years, didn't even have a daughter. Like now my life is completely flipped on its head. Like I have a daughter, I have a full fighting career. Like it's so different, man. So like nowadays life is it's much more structured towards my career and family. So, not not a lot of fun stuff anymore. I'll just say that. The fun I have is when I get in the cage, like that's my fun, that's my outlet. But yeah, man, I used to play a lot of games. I used to hang out with friends all the time, go here, go there. Now it's just, train, eat, take care of the daughter, work. Like it's just a very like routine life. And it's kind of like when you're chasing greatness, like you have to sacrifice a lot, man. And I feel like I sacrifice a lot of that fun stuff. I don't get to hang out with friends as much. I don't get to go out do things that, put my health at risk as much. And it's just like, you got to sacrifice, man. And that's what I'm willing to do right now to get that goal that I've set for myself. So yeah, a lot nowadays, yeah, if you're asking, it's just work, whatever. It work's pretty fun too, right? Like it's always different every time
Exactly.
I show up on a set or when I'm doing stuff. So work, I'm training, I'm taking care of the daughter, man, and every once in a while I'll play a video game or here and there. I'm super competitive, so when it's like I have downtime, I still like to compete some way, shape, or form. So I'll like hop on a game where I can, shit talk somebody and and get a victory or something, just to get that little rush. But yeah, it's just very, very structured life nowadays, man.
That's how it goes. Life of a professional fighter, of a father. Congratulations. That's all the questions I have. Congratulations again on your win and everything else going on in your life. I'm looking forward to seeing you next, whether it's Dana White's Contender Series or whether it's UFC, whether it's, like you said, staying busy, another BFL title defense. I'm looking forward to it. I know all our fans are looking forward to it. Where can we find you? Instagram, Twitter, what are your handles?
Yeah, right now I actually only have an Instagram, and even, geez, I never post on there. Like I've had that thing since what, 2016, and I have like 20 posts on there. Like most of my posts are people who believe in me or are posting something about me, and I'll repost it on my page. So I need to get on that, maybe start making some memes and reels and whatnot. It's hard, but it's a big plays a big part of the game. So yeah, if you want to find me, you go on Instagram, Radley underscore Da Silva on Instagram, and I'll probably have to make a Twitter too, right, or an X or whatever. Not if I'm gonna be fighting the UFC, I know they like their athletes to have an X, so I'll probably get on that. But right now, just Twitter, man, and yeah, you can keep updated on my next fights and videos and cool stuff like that, whatever I'm doing on there.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for taking the time. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you later.
Thanks, man. Catch you later.